I'm a constitutional lawyer, and I have absolutely no idea what's in these books.
Yet government adds thousands of pages of new rules every year.
Tough reforms to protect consumers.
And they say we need more.
There are certain times we should infringe on your freedom.
We have to depend on the federal government to protect our children.
Okay, but they keep passing more laws. Now we're drowning in red tape.
I can't eat the way I want, I can't drink water the way I want, I can't poop the way I want.
It's like a disease. It's like a mold. It just eats you through.
Get out of my life.
This magician must have a license for his rabbit? These men were arrested for offering home improvements.
Are you kidding me?
How is any normal human supposed to understand this and follow it?
I don't have that answer.
The Constitution says I have a right to bear arms. But where I live, I can't do this legally.
Can't we get rid of some of this?
The good news is that some entrepreneurs cut through the red tape.
I chose to be a survivor, not a victim.
So families have a better experience. And even I can drive a cab.
Welcome.
All these people are combatants in the war on the little guy.
A certain amount of regulation is good.
That's right.
The problem is they don't stop.
I would be out of business.
With every phone call, there came some more bureaucratic red tape.
These people say laws, endless rules, strangle them.
Our government adds thousands of new pages of law every year.
That's on top of the 175,000 pages they passed in prior years.
This is just what you see here, just the federal part. States, local governments add much more than this.
That's right. If you wanted to get state, county, and city laws, you'd need to rent a bigger building.
Lawyer Jeff Rose helps little guys deal with this red tape.
This is an agenda of control for its own sake. That's why regulators do what they do.
Come on, I mean, control for its own sake. That they're not Machiavellian power freaks.
I'm guessing you haven't dealt with very many bureaucrats. They like rules, and they live to enforce rules.
They're tyrants.
I believe they are.
Underpaid government functionaries.
Tyrants, man.
I call these regulators little emperors. They justify their existence, John,
Exactly.
by creating regulations.
Even Marty the magician is regulated.
I got into being a full-time magician just because I thought, how can I be regulated as a magician? That's he can't get out anymore. Too bad.
Marty's entertained kids for 30 years, and like many magicians, he uses a rabbit.
Casey, a big hand! Wow! We'll have the birthday child come up and make the rabbit magically appear, and that just knocks him out.
But a few years ago,
I was signing autographs and taking pictures with children and their parents. Suddenly a badge was thrown into the mix and an inspector saying, "Let me see your license." A license for a rabbit. Hi, Casey. Hi, Casey. She said, from now on, you cannot use your rabbit until you fill out paperwork, pay the $40 license fee. We'll have to inspect your home.
Your home?
I am subject to surprise inspections of my home.
And she's not embarrassed, right?
No, she is very serious about this.
apparently Marty was in violation of the Animal Welfare Act. 10 times regulators have shown up unannounced at Marty's house.
You cannot argue with them. You can't even talk logically with them. She would love it if everybody said, "Oh." I got a new inspector and I said, "Oh, did my first one retire?" And she said, "No, good news, we've increased our budget and we have more inspectors now. So we'll be able to visit you more often."
You got this letter. Dear members of our regulated community, it sounds like a family.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a community I don't want to really be a part of. They actually wanted a comprehensive written disaster plan detailing everything I would do with my rabbit in the event of a fire, a flood, a tornado, an ice storm.
There are 20 possible disasters they list. An intentional attack, animals escape, tornado, hurricane, blizzard.
The government calls these common emergencies.
The plan came in at 30 pages.
So you say to these people, come on, this is ridiculous, and they laugh and say, no, yeah, it is, but we have to do this?
They don't laugh and say, ever.
There's always more. I mean, you're not doing your job if you're a regulator unless you add more of this stuff.
That's right. That's why government grows in one direction and it doesn't shrink. America was conceived as a sea of liberty with islands of government power. We're now a sea of government power with ever-shrinking islands of liberty.
Let's go to that sea of government power. I'd like to show you around.
Hey, you want a Washington, D.C. tour? Just $10. That's the Capitol behind me. This is the IRS building. Oh, I can't tell you that. That's illegal.
Segs in the City offers guided tours around Washington on Segways. Segs in the City, get it? One problem.
This is illegal.
Well, it is illegal if you talk.
Bill Maine had an idea. Tours by Segway.
Business grows tremendously.
And that's going to be off to our left here.
But guides in D.C. must take a test and get a government license to give tours.
We'll get you back to the kiosk here.
So, you've been given tours?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have a license? Are you a bad person?
I am not.
She tried to get a license, but that's not easy.
I had to get 4 personal references from people that I've known over a year. I had to get a criminal background check, passport photos. That was like something like $20.
Total cost $200.
2 or 3 weeks later, they said I could sign up for a test date. I actually took it like a week and a half ago, and I failed by 5 points.
After this interview, she tried again, jumped through more hoops, paid another $115, retook the test, and finally did pass.
Aren't they trying to make sure that people get a proper tour?
We give them a proper tour. I mean, I've passed a bar exam. I know how to give a proper tour. If you look off to your right, Washington, D.C., and off to your left, Virginia and the Pentagon.
The tour rules aren't about safety on segways. They're about what guides are allowed to say. Many new rules are limits on speech. John Roseman was told he had to get a license for his advice column.
If John Roseman is a criminal for giving advice in his column, then Dear Abby was on a 50-year crime spree.
Roseman's column appears in hundreds of papers, but this year
I received a letter from the attorney for the Kentucky Psychology Licensing Board telling me that I was practicing psychology without a license.
Cease and desist. You're engaged in unlawful practice of psychology.
People all over the country are getting in trouble for giving advice without a license. I represent a blogger from North Carolina who is giving out dietary advice over the internet. He got in trouble. I represent a vet who is helping people overseas who have no access to veterinarians. That guy got in trouble.
It is often the little guy who's the biggest victim of abusive law.
Am I being arrested? No, sir. You're being detained for an investigation of unlicensed activity. We're going to need to check you for weapons.
These men have the nerve to offer home improvements.
Are you kidding me now? No, sir. This is not a sting operation.
Because these job seekers didn't put up thousands of dollars and take several tests, government cracked down.
Okay, so go all the way down.
Bureaucrats at a state licensing board offered jobs to people who posted ads on Craigslist saying, "I seek work." But when the workers showed up, this happened. California's proud of this. They posted this video online. At a time when unemployment's high, our government attacks people who want to work and stops people from starting businesses.
I just got started, and now here they come.
She was told, you need a license to help people with taxes.
Free enterprise is at stake.
This man, after selling T-shirts here for 30 years, was told, you must stop.
This is just the rules from Friday, December 16th. It's tiny fine print. Here.
Yep.
Every day is another book.
Yep.
And you have to know everything in here or you can go to jail.
That's right. And
here, more.
I'm a constitutional lawyer, and I have absolutely no idea what's in these books.
Each and every one of these is incomprehensible to me.
Totally incomprehensible and unnecessary. I mean, I'm flipping open to this book, and this is Department of Energy regulations on the formula for determining the energy efficiency of a commercial ice maker. Now, somebody who runs a bar or a restaurant can just go to the manufacturer and say, give me an ice maker. If it works, the market will figure out what is the best ice maker. We don't
There'll
need
be reviews on Yelp or Consumer Reports.
Yeah, we don't need the federal government printing incomprehensible mathematical formulas and requiring everybody to conform to this sort of bizarre bureaucratic standard
but
for
we
ice.
Keep every day getting more of this stuff.
Yes, and it doesn't go away.
It's like a disease. It's like a mold that just eats you through slowly, and you don't exist anymore.
People expect the city to be regulated, so let's leave here and move 600 miles away.
Eustace Conway lives off the land in North Carolina. People call him Mountain Man.
With my own hands, built everything. When I moved here, there wasn't a clearing, there wasn't a building.
Over 20 years, his Turtle Island Education Center became popular. He taught 1,000 people how to live like pioneers. But last year, the county told him to shut down.
He hadn't gotten permits.
Nathan Miller heads the county board that oversees the building department.
People said his camp was unsafe.
We don't necessarily know whether it's unsafe or not.
The Mountain Man told the county inspectors, go away. So they came back with lots of people.
They brought all these different departments from the health department, the tax people, the fire marshal. All of a sudden, this whole team, like the cars or trucks, as far as you could see, showed up, blocked our driveway, came in with armed guards, and just took over our home.
Doesn't that seem like overkill?
Not really. They just merely had their pistols on the side. He had the opportunity, Mr. Conway did, to cooperate.
That raid led to this 78-page report on what the Mountain Man must change.
This is just more government overkill.
We created this report in anticipation of litigation.
And a lot of it is just crazy. Like, they got a picture of our doghouse in there for a German Shepherd. It's 4 feet long. They said that this is intern housing. Like, I don't know if they thought we had midgets here or what.
There are many problems with his property.
They say you have unsafe buildings resting on a piece of rock.
Yeah, like a rock-solid foundation, you know. We've been working with the health department every year for over 20 years. They're telling me I can't live this way. Well, this is the way that I live. I mean, I can't eat the way I want, can't drink water the way I want, can't poop the way I want, can't sleep in a building the way I want. I guess a new bureaucrat came in, but like every year, we have a stack of permits where they permitted every year, and all of a sudden it's like completely unacceptable.
Do you ever think there are too many rules?
Yeah. I think that all the time. But we don't invent the building code. We're merely the enforcer.
How is any normal human supposed to understand this and follow it?
I don't have that answer. I don't have that answer. If you look behind me, we have 24 statute books. I'm a lawyer. I'm supposed to know all those statutes. Builders obviously can't possibly know all this, but they are taught how to look this stuff up.
Why don't you just do what they ask?
If we do what they want, we destroy the reason that we're there. We want to teach about primitive, natural living, and they want us to have modern buildings. I'm not going to do what they want me to do.
The Mountain Man refused to close his camp. And then his passionate supporters got North Carolina's legislature to change the law to exempt primitive camps.
It sounds like the bill was written just for him.
It was written just for him, and they fixed it so that he was pretty much exempt.
So the Mountain Man teaches kids again. And the Segway tours continue. And RJ keeps moving people while he fights in court.
Look at that, everybody!
Marty can keep his magic show alive.
There's a happy ending here.
Yes.
After his story made headlines, the government backed off. Marty no longer must have a disaster plan for his rabbit.
With a little magic and a rabbit, we've at least for now have what they've called a stay in the rules.
But you had to have such a dramatic story you were on the front page.
Most victims of big government suffer in silence, but these people fought back.
These regulators really do believe that they're making the world a better place, when if you listen to all of these stories, we are making the world a better place.
Some may never win, but it's great that they fight.
It's good to be in this room with other people.
Right. Yeah, it's good to be here together. We're not the only ones.
They are the good news.
But the bad news is that in there and in state capitals everywhere, they keep adding more red tape. They should stop, but they won't stop.